Nobody is coming to save you. That's the hard truth most people don't want to hear. We wait for someone to show up to fix us, to pull us out of the struggle, to hand us the life we dream about. But nobody is coming, and that's not meant to scare you. It's meant to free you. Because the moment you realize that no one is coming to rescue you is the same moment you realize you are the one who has to do it. You're the one who has to make the decision. You're the one who has to take the step. You're the one who has to build the discipline. See, we spend so much time blaming our circumstances, waiting for opportunities, waiting for the right person, the right timing, the right motivation. But life doesn't wait. The world doesn't care about excuses. If you want change, you have to create it. If you want respect, you have to earn it. If you want freedom, you have to fight for it. And that fight isn't about throwing punches. It's about consistency. It's about doing the hard things when no one's watching. It's about showing up every single day, even when it's uncomfortable. Nobody is coming to tell you to get out of bed at 5 a.m. Nobody is coming to remind you to put down your phone and get to work. Nobody is coming to drag you out of the pit of excuses you've dug yourself into. That's on you. And when you embrace that, when you stop waiting and start acting, you'll see that the person you've been waiting for this whole time, the hero, the savior, the rescuer, it's been you all along. Nobody is coming to save you. That truth hits harder than most people are willing to accept because we live in a world where it feels easier to wait than it does to move, where it feels easier to hope than it does to act. You wake up and think, maybe tomorrow will be different. Maybe someone will finally notice my struggle. Maybe someone will open the door I've been waiting to walk through. Maybe life will hand me a chance. Maybe something outside of me will shift and give me the permission I've been holding back from giving myself. But here's the reality. You can sit in that waiting room for the rest of your life and nobody will walk in. You can stare at that phone. You can stare at that door. You can stare at your past. But the rescue you are waiting for will never come because it was never designed to. We wait because waiting feels safer. If I wait for someone else to fix it, I don't have to risk failing myself. If I wait for the perfect moment, I can tell myself that success is just delayed, not denied. If I wait for encouragement, I can justify why I haven't moved yet. But all of that is just a disguise for fear. Fear of responsibility, fear of ownership, fear of stepping into the unknown. Nobody is coming to save you because life doesn't reward waiting, it rewards movement. And movement is your job. When you finally accept that, you start to see the truth about your life. The person who has been holding you back isn't the boss who overlooked you. It isn't the friend who betrayed you. It isn't the parent who didn't support you. The person who has been holding you back is you. The person who has been feeding you the story of maybe tomorrow is you. The person who has been lowering the bar on your own potential is you. And the person who is responsible for changing that story, raising that bar, stepping into that potential is you. Nobody is coming to wake you up in the morning. Nobody is coming to tell you to close the distractions and focus. Nobody is coming to hold you accountable for your dreams. That's why most people live their lives halfway asleep. They spend their entire existence waiting for someone else to do the work only they can do. And that's why the majority never step into greatness. Because greatness never shows up in the mail. It doesn't knock on the door. It doesn't call you on your phone. Greatness is built in silence, in private, in the hours where no one is watching and no one is clapping. Greatness is built when you stop waiting for a rescuer and start building yourself into one. Think about how many times in your life you delayed a decision because you thought somebody else would make it for you. You wanted to start working out, but you waited for a friend to join you. You wanted to apply for that job, but you waited until someone encouraged you. You wanted to start a business, but you waited until everything felt safe. And in that waiting, weeks turned into months, months into years, and opportunities passed you by. Why? Because nobody came, nobody ever does. That's why the most successful people are the ones who finally stop waiting and start doing. When you realize nobody is coming to save you, you stop giving your power away. You stop living as if life owes you something. You stop complaining about what you don't have and start building with what you do have. You stop blaming and start creating. And the irony is, when you stop waiting for someone else to show up, you finally show up for yourself. You finally look in the mirror and admit that the only way forward is through your own discipline, your own courage, your own effort. People will disappoint you. They'll say they'll be there, and they won't. They'll promise to support you and then vanish when it gets difficult. They'll cheer when you're on top and disappear when you hit the bottom. If your strength relies on other people, you'll collapse every single time. But if your strength relies on you, nobody can take it away. That's why this truth, nobody is coming to save you, isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace. It means that your future isn't in the hands of somebody else. It means you don't have to wait anymore. It means you can stop wishing and start working. The weight is heavy, yes. Taking responsibility for your own life is not easy, yes. But it's also where your freedom begins. Because the moment you stop expecting someone else to solve your problems, you start solving them yourself. The moment you stop waiting for the world to hand you opportunities, you start creating them. The moment you stop hoping for a savior, you become one. And every step you take in that direction builds confidence, builds resilience, builds proof that you don't need to be rescued. You are capable, you are resourceful, you are enough. Every time you look in the mirror, you have a choice. You can see someone who is waiting, or you can see someone who is working. You can see someone who is making excuses, or you can see someone who is making progress. You can see someone who is searching for a savior, or you can see someone who has decided to become their own. And the truth is, the second version of you is the only one who will ever change your life. The sooner you accept that no one is coming, the sooner you'll find your power. Power is not something you borrow from someone else. It's not something handed to you. It's something you unlock when you realize you have no other choice but to rely on yourself. Most people live their lives in quiet denial, holding on to the hope that someone will notice their pain, someone will carry their burden, someone will take the steps they are too afraid to take. But that hope keeps them stuck because it teaches them to lean instead of stand, to wait instead of move, to wish instead of work. The truth is harsh, but it is freeing. No one is coming. And that is exactly why you can stop waiting and start acting. When you stop expecting the world to hand you what you want, you stop being disappointed by what you don't get. You stop blaming life for being unfair. You stop resenting others for having what you don't. And you start realizing that ownership is the only way forward. Responsibility becomes your foundation. Growth becomes your obligation. Discipline becomes your weapon. Every small step you take when you're tired, every sacrifice you make when no one applauds, every moment you choose action over excuses, that is where your power is built. Power isn't about dominating others or proving something to the world. It's about mastering yourself. It's about proving to yourself that you can do what you said you would do. It's about showing up even when it hurts. It's about building trust with the one person you can never escape, the one person you'll live with forever. You. When you learn to trust yourself, when you learn to keep your own promises, you no longer fear the silence. You no longer depend on someone else's validation. You no longer need rescuing because you have built the strength to stand on your own. Think about how many times you've stopped because you thought you needed permission. You wanted to change your body, but you told yourself you needed a coach before you could begin. You wanted to write that book, but you told yourself you needed someone to guide you. You wanted to take control of your life, but you told yourself you needed a push. What you really needed was to decide. Once you decide, everything shifts. Once you decide, you stop asking for permission. Once you decide, you start moving imperfectly maybe, but moving nonetheless. And that movement is where momentum is born. The sooner you accept no one is coming, the sooner you'll understand that motivation is not a gift from the outside, but a decision from the inside. Motivation is unreliable because it fades, it drifts, it comes and goes. Discipline is what you need, and discipline doesn't care about feelings. Discipline shows up when you don't want to. Discipline tells you to finish what you started. Discipline teaches you that every time you choose to act despite how you feel, you win a battle with yourself. And the more of those battles you win, the more powerful you become. When you stop waiting for someone else to guide you, you realize you've had the compass all along. You know deep down what needs to be done. You know the habits you've been avoiding. You know the work you've been putting off. You know the excuses you've been telling yourself. And the moment you choose to confront that truth instead of hiding behind the hope of outside rescue, you start making real progress. You start replacing excuses with execution. You start replacing fear with action. You start replacing waiting with doing. And it won't be easy. Accepting that no one is coming is heavy. It forces you to face the weight of your own life without a safety net. It forces you to step out of the victim mindset and into the driver's seat. But that is where transformation happens. The people you admire, the ones who inspire you, they didn't get there because someone came to save them. They got there because they saved themselves. They got there because they embraced the responsibility of their own lives and chose to move forward no matter how heavy the load. Every single day you are presented with the same choice: wait or work. Wait for someone else to change it or work to change it yourself. Wait for someone to hand you an opportunity or work to create one. Wait for someone to fix the mess or work to clean it yourself. And every time you choose work over wait, you reclaim more of your power. You stop being at the mercy of others and start being in command of yourself. The sooner you accept no one is coming, the sooner you'll stop wasting energy on resentment. Because resentment is the child of expectation. You expected someone to show up, they didn't, so you grew bitter. You expected someone to help, they didn't, so you grew angry. But when you accept no one is coming, you expect nothing and you focus on building everything. You stop looking outward and you start digging inward. That shift is where your strength is born. You will stumble. You will fail. You will feel tired. But when you're no longer waiting for someone else, failure doesn't destroy you. It teaches you. You don't see it as proof that you can't. You see it as proof that you tried, and trying means you're still in the fight. Trying means you're moving. Trying means you're refusing to stand still. And every attempt, successful or not, builds resilience. That resilience is power. That resilience is what makes you unstoppable. The sooner you accept no one is coming, the sooner you'll see yourself differently. Not as a victim of circumstance, not as a passenger in someone else's vehicle, but as the author of your own story. You'll realize that every page is blank until you pick up the pen. That pen doesn't belong to your parents, your boss, your friends, or anyone else. It belongs to you. And the story only moves forward when you write it. What do you think about this video? Tell me in the comments.